Bundy and Gacy, they're just the ones that got all the press. We house the ones that you whisper about around the campfire.
Let's give the boys a tour.
Okay, so good morning. So this is a review of Funhouse Massacre. So the Funhouse Massacre is a 2015 slasher directed by Andy Palmer with a guest appearance from Robert Englund. So when the movie starts, you have a journalist, Miss Quinn, who is interviewing Warden Kane, played by Robert Englund, about the alleged illegal incarceration of 5 of its inmates. And it transpires that Miss Kane is actually the Stitch-Face killer, or Dollface. She goes by both names. And Miss Kane is able to orchestrate the escape of 5 dangerous patients. You have a deadly dentist, a cannibal chef, a killer clown, a human taxidermist, and a cult leader. And prior to this happening, Dollface or Stitchface is in a relationship with the owner of a local theme park, and she convinces him for his Halloween night to base his Halloween night on the activities and the crimes of these mental patients. So when the mental patients go to the theme park, they're able to take care of the actors playing them and effectively pick up where they left off. So you really have the inmates running the asylum, so to speak. So in terms of characters, as the night progresses, we follow Mikey and Randall along with their co-workers Morgan, Laurie, Christina and Jason, as they go from having the time of their lives in this theme park to actually fighting for their lives. And we also follow Sheriff Kate Hodges and Deputy Doyle as they initially investigate a murder that happened before the theme park carnage, and then they start to go and investigate what's happening in the theme park. Deputy Doyle receives quite a few prank calls about carnage happening in the funhouse, so he leaves the police phone off the hook, as you do. And by the time they get there, the party is well underway. So let's start with the positives of the Funhouse Massacre. So you have some interesting antagonists. You have Dr. Suave, who is the dentist, the deadly dentist. You have Mental Maddie, who is the cult leader. He's a bit of a Jim Jones or Charlie Manson type character. And like a big mention to Clint Howard, who played the human taxidermist. He made the best of the small amount of screen time he had available, and he did actually make me laugh. So I think that he had a very good performance, and it was a good character that I don't think the film got the best out of. There is an abundance of brutal and varied kills. The kills take place in front of either an unwitting or a half-asleep crowd, whichever way you want to look at it. And on a personal basis, I visited Cedar Park in Ohio on their Halloween night, and I had such a good time. So I did really enjoy the location. I did really enjoy the theme of the movie. I do like carnival themed horror films. The Robert Englund cameo was excellent. You wouldn't expect anything else, but they did kill off Robert Englund before the opening credits even started, so we only got a little bit of this character. And once again, the ending was quite good. If you watch the film, wait until after the credits are rolled, because there is a further surprise after the ending. Yes. Now on to the negatives. Once again, I say this every review, but the Funhouse Massacre isn't the only film guilty of this, but you have very cliched characters, and in this case especially, you have very poor group dynamic. You have two characters who have sex everywhere and talk about it a lot. You have two borderline virgins, and you have two horror geeks. The dynamic and the rapport just doesn't work for me. Also, despite this being not a bad film, it's not particularly funny, and it's not particularly scary either. And also, the introduction at the beginning when Miss Quinn is in the mental asylum, the introduction of the antagonists is very mythological. It's very methodical, very methodical, and it's very on the nose. It's not a massive problem, but it is very in your face, and it's very, very on the nose. Deputy Doyle. No, I've watched all the Johnny English films, and Deputy Doyle, they tried to use him as a Boff, the Boff character from Johnny English. Boff was done very effectively and was very funny in Johnny English. What the Funhouse Massacre have tried to do with Deputy Doyle didn't work. His jokes don't land, and he just becomes more of an annoyance throughout the film than anything that brings any humour. So that, I think, it was a very poor character. The awkward conversation between Laurie and Morgan is painful. The film leads it into will they or won't they get together, and it's not good to watch, folks. It's really not good to watch. You also have one pop culture fail. Now, pop culture in a film or a TV show can be good, but you also run the risk that using pop culture can make your show age very badly. And when Christina, who was the sexy Hillary Clinton, grabbed her bosoms and said, "Wouldn't you vote for these in 2016?" has aged this film very badly, unfortunately. Another issue was the budget. You can see this was operated on quite a low budget, and within the theme park there were a lot of tight shots where you would have wanted a wide shot, and a lot of sets were reused quite a lot. It's hard to be too critical of the film, because if the budget wasn't there, the budget wasn't there. But as a viewer, you can see opportunities for where this film could have been better. And going back to the earlier point, there were far too many quips and far too many one-liners that just didn't land. The film could have survived without them, and it would have been a lot better without them. So my score for this film is probably 6.5 out of 10. It was largely it's a watchable film which didn't take itself too seriously. Some things held it back. One was definitely the budget. If you compare this to Hellfest, for me, you can see Hellfest had a lot more sets. There were more wider shots, and you could just see more money's being spent on this. A lot of the dialogue was awkward. A lot of the one-liners weren't funny. The characters were quite cliched. You have this case where serial killers run a theme park. It could have been done a lot better, but some of this could have been down to budget. So very much this is watchable. There are better carnival horror films out there, but this film is shown on Netflix, so if you do have an hour and a half free, yeah, definitely give it a go. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you again soon.
No talking in class.